What is up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to do a live call breakdown that I had for a land deal. Now, this is one of the most difficult sellers I've ever worked with. They gave me every single objection in the book. We had a lot of negotiations, but at the end of the day, I closed the deal, we bought the property, sold it, everyone got paid, and everyone was happy. So if you want to learn how to talk to sellers, how to handle objections like a pro, and how to negotiate, this video is for you. So make sure you stick around and watch the entire thing. Let's get into it. All right.
Just wanted to talk to you a bit more and see what else I can find out. So
I'm out here in my garage, so I don't know if you can hear me. I might have to go to the house.
no, you're totally good. Yeah, so I got this form with my team, and I was looking over the parcel. Just wanted to talk to you a bit more and see what else I can find out. So you have basically 20 acres, correct?
Yes, I think it's 1992 or something like that.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. So what do you know about it?
Not a whole lot. I don't do anything with it. It's just sitting.
All right, so this is a really important first point. So when I'm opening up the call, I always start with talking about things about the property, right? I'm gonna dive into things that are more personal, like their motivation for wanting to sell, stuff like that later on. But the easiest way to get into more personal questions is to first get them to open up about things that are less personal, i.e. the property, right? So what I like to do, even though I already know about the property, is I like to say an open statement like, all right, so what can you tell me about the property? Additionally, what that does is they start to sell me the property, right? I'm getting them invested. They're gonna be like, oh, well, it has this, this, this. It's like, yeah, tell me more, right? That's why I asked that question at the beginning.
It is. It was cleared off at one point, but I don't have it cleared now. It's kind of grown up a little. I had thought about doing an RV park out there because you're the 20 so close. But to get that started would cost me an arm and a leg, and I really don't know how to even get started. Yeah. So, and Hamilton County is very good to do it because they would approve it, but it's kind of hard to get started, and I don't have what it takes to do it. So all I can say about the land is there's the 9 acres is a little lower than the other 10.92. The 10.92 does have half a pond and pretty much a whole other pond on it.
As a side note, if a seller starts talking about I was planning on doing this. This is, by the way, this is a very, one-off situation. She was talking about building an RV park. That's something that could, produce revenue for them, right? That's a red flag. I need to make sure that I cut that path off, that they're not going to do that, because that could be an objection as to why they might sell to me. Okay. Which is part of the reason, oh yeah, it's kind of complicated. We'll get more into that later though.
It's just woods. It's not really woods. I had it planted in pines at one point, and then, but then we cut the pines. I just hadn't replanted. But that's all I can tell you. I did. The neighbor, McWaters, I think is the name. They're on the, I don't know what side that would be. That would probably be the south side.
Yeah.
They have, their son offered me, I think it was 66 for all of it. Okay. And I just didn't do it. It wasn't the time for me to do it. I just kind of it was my grandfather's land, and so I just didn't do anything. I just said, no, I don't want to.
This is important. Now I know that 66,000 is too low for her. Okay. When you ask that open-ended question like I did in the beginning of what can you tell me about the property? Some prospects are going to be closed off and not say a bunch, but some like her, they're just going to open up and spill. And you want to let them just continue talking, okay? Because they're going to give you valuable information. Now I know that, hey, she's not going to accept an offer lower than that. I need to make sure my offer's going to be higher than that to even move the sale forward.
To do it right now. And he wanted me to finance some of it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
No,
for sure.
Definitely get that. So how long was that?
About not even a year ago.
Okay. Well, I guess it's kind of curious to me. So I know that you offered that. What can you think of? Hey, maybe I'll sell it now.
That is one of the most powerful questions, okay? Now I'm figuring out her motivation for wanting to sell. Listen to how I did it though. I'm gonna go back and we're gonna do this one more time, and I'm gonna play it at a slower speed.
I think it was 66 for all of it.
Okay.
And I just didn't do it. It wasn't the time for me to do it. I just kind of it was my grandfather's land, and so I just didn't do anything. I just said, no, I don't want to do it right now. Sure. And he wanted me to finance some of it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
No,
for sure.
I definitely get that. So how long ago was that?
About not even a year ago.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm kind of curious. So I know that he had offered you that. What got you thinking of, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll sell it now. Okay,
this is so important, and this is where most people go wrong, right? The way that I ask that question is hey, I'm kind of curious, right? I'm just trying to get them to open up. I sound friendly. I literally sound curious, right? What's got you thinking of, maybe selling it now, right? I'm using somewhat uncertain language, maybe, or I might say possibly, because if I say a statement well, what makes you want to sell it right now? Most of the time they're well, I don't know if I want to sell you. I'm still thinking about it. We don't want to get that. That means you're breaking rapport with your prospect, right? I want them to get to open up to me. And at this stage, you have to understand this is the first time I've talked to this person. They're not at a point where they're oh yes, 100% I'm going to sell. What's going through a seller's mind now is I'm kind of interested, but they're still kind of thinking about it, right? So I want to match that level of energy of where they're at, because I'm going to get a higher quality answer for them, right? They're going to actually tell me more information.
Well, because one thing I just talked truck, but and your letter came, and I was like, oh, that might be a good time. Which I don't have any plans to do anything with it. And that, I mean, if I had a plan, or my children, I was going to split it to my children. They both live in Jacksonville, and they say, Mom, I'll never visit back there, so you might as well sell it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually engaged.
Boom. All right. She just bought a truck. What does that mean? That means that she has an expense that she needs to pay off, right? Next, she said she got my letter. That's a common thing that you hear, but she actually gave me a much higher quality answer after that. Basically saying that her kids don't want the land. Very important. That's something that you have to make sure of is like, hey, is there anyone else in your family, friends possibly, that might want the land? So you're trying to figure out why are they trying to sell to you, an investor, instead of someone else or passing it down. And because I gave her a more high quality answer, I'm like, well, what's got you maybe thinking about it? She told me what has got her thinking about it, right? But again, if I had said, well, what makes you, definitely want to sell this land to me? She'd be like, well, I don't know if I want to sell the land. I wouldn't have got that answer, okay? So the way that you ask questions is the biggest determiner of the quality of answer that you get, all right?
But so many people move out and they won't come back. So my dad was out my friends. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna see where I'm at. So I do get that.
Yeah, and that was both of them. I thought my younger one would like to, build a house out there on it, especially that it was my grandfather's land. But he just said, hey, I'm in Jacksonville. I'm not coming back. There's nothing there. That kind of thing. So, and I get it. It's very rural. I will tell you that the land is very rural. There's not a lot.
And the next most important thing, and this is where a lot of people who, maybe they've never talked to someone on the phone in some type of sales environment that they initially struggle with, but it's actually the easiest thing, is you just need to sound like a human. People forget this conversation, this isn't a sales call. It's conversation between two people. We're just talking about a very specific thing, i.e. the land, right? And where people mess up is when they get super tense. They're like, oh, this is weird. Just treat it like you're just talking to a friend, right? You're talking to someone normal, okay? But know that, hey, there's a specific purpose for this call, okay? Which is, i.e. to buy their land, right? So you can tell I'm not being overly friendly, but I'm just being a regular person. Okay, that's the most important thing. That's how you get people to open up to you. Just be a normal person. If they feel like you're being a salesperson, they're going to close off.
A lot out there now, but I can see it growing, because it's not far from 75. And that's why I thought about the RV park, because it's not even a mile, maybe a mile and a half from 75 to exit at 129 and 75, and then it's only 3 miles, 4 miles to the Spirit of the Swanee. Not even that, probably 2.5 miles to the Spirit of the Swanee. And then you got 10 that's probably within 8 miles. So it's kind of between, and it's a good location. It's just that there's nothing there. The startup money for me to do anything would just be too much. So
I think you're going to make a smart choice. It's very complicated, expensive, and then there's just a lot of intricacies when you get into stuff like that. You know what I mean? So obviously, if there's a way for you to just get cash and get paid out, that might be a better option. So
okay, this is me basically trying to downplay the idea of her building an RV park because, she's not going to do it, right? It's way too complicated. This is a person who just owns land. She's never run a business, never done any real estate deals. You really think that she's probably going to go and start an RV park? No, that's complicated. That takes time. That's not an easy thing to do, right? However, in her mind, it's oh, I could do this. Well, that would be a problem. That would stop the sale, right? So I downplay it. Oh, it's pretty complicated. And I could do that because I'm an industry expert. I know about land, right? So you want to be subtle in how you do this, but if there's another reason as to, what else they could do besides sell to you, i.e. they could use it to produce revenue in some other way, build an RV park, you want to downplay it. But you also need to understand where the prospect is at, right? If this was a high-level business owner, I'd be having a different type of conversation with them because they would actually know how to do that. With someone like this, it's some pie-in-the-sky dream of, I could build an RV park. But the chances of her doing it are just 1%, right? If it was a high-level business owner who owned the land, is well, I was thinking about doing this, I would ask him a different set of questions that would lead to the conclusion that it's not a good idea to do that, and it would be more advantageous that he sells to me.
You just bought a truck. Would you ideally just pay off the truck?
Well, probably. The truck didn't cost as much money as I would get from that, so yeah, I would just pay off the truck, maybe pay off a couple of little tiny bills that I got lingering, but nothing. It ain't going to be a whole lot, so it ain't like it's going to pay out.
Now I'm finding out what she's going to do with the money. Super important. I find the motivation for why she wants to sell. I pay off the truck. I've got some lingering bills, etc.
Well, and then I guess in terms of time framing, ideally, how soon do you want to close it like this?
I don't really even, I'll be honest with you, I don't have any, I don't even have to sell it. So I'm not pressured. I just saw the letter. I was like, that might be a good time. I put over
I then always ask time frame. Ideally, how soon are you looking to sell? What you're noticing, land, is most people, they're not under financial, stress. It's not like with houses where people are like, oh my God, I need to sell them right now. It's in foreclosure. That doesn't happen with land. You will get some people that, need to sell ASAP. And if you do, that's great. It's, easier to move it along and you can negotiate lower because you can be like, well, listen, I can close this in 2 weeks, but if I'm going to do that, I'm not going to be able to run the level of due diligence that I really need. So in order to do that, I'm going to need a discount on the land, right? However, most people, they're not going to have a big time incentive, which also works in our favor because then we can take longer to run our due diligence. We can do a double close where we can put on the market for 90 days, etc. So it works out either way.
I'm not in debt. Believe me, I'm not in debt, but it's one of those things that, I saw your letter. I'm good. If we sell it, I'm good. If we don't, I've had it for 7 years.
Okay, another thing. I'm not in debt. I'm not in debt. Most people are not going to come out and say like, I'm doing bad financially, or I'm kind of having a cash crunch. But there's a discrepancy here. As you noticed earlier in the call, she's like, well, I pay off the truck. I've got some bills to pay off. So I don't think she's like super struggling financially. But if she was 100% good financially, she would not have mentioned those things. No one wants to come out and say, oh, I'm in debt, because that's uncomfortable to say. But through the other things that she's told me in the call, I do know that this is a financially driven decision if she decides to sell, because she does have some things that she needs to pay off, and she'll give more of that away later in the call. So just keep note of that. When you see a discrepancy between what a prospect says, right, generally the truth lies in the discrepancy.
Years, and I plan on keeping it forever, so I have to be motivated to sell it, I'll tell you.
No, I get that. So, I guess what exactly would make you motivated to sell?
Well, I'm kind of like, if I throw a number out there, you're probably going to lowball it, so I don't want to do that. But
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you this. Sometimes I can just come to an agreement that makes sense. So obviously, I'm open to discussion. I want it to be a win-win where we can both walk away and it makes sense. So I know that guy had offered you 60. You said, but part of it was seller financing, correct?
Another important note, like you can tell the way that I'm talking, it's to frame it as a win-win. Like I want her to see me as her partner in this, that we're working together. We're working on the same side of the table. Because like that's what it really is, right? Like I want to make a deal happen, but it's got to be a win for her and a win for me, right? Not one-sided.
Yeah, 66, but yeah. What I was thinking about, I just talked to my husband when you said you were going to call me back. The acreage that, right now at the 41 at the 10.92, looks like you'd be doing like 3,800 an acre.
Yeah, roughly.
So that's what I would rather do for the whole parcel, for all of it.
Okay.
So it'd be about 75.5, I think.
75. Okay. And then obviously that'll be cash. That would not be with finance.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't do that much for a big parcel. Or make
Unless you want to finance it, and I'll charge you like 15% interest. I'm good with that too.
I think I'll pay. Okay, well, I think we'd be somewhere in that range, so I think it's doable on our end. I do need to take it back to the because obviously originally we nailed on that 1.92, so she talked about this other part. The pond that you have on the 9 acres is a stock.
Extremely important what I just did there. Hey, I think I can do it, but I need to take this back to my underwriters. I always do a 2-call close, which means I have 1 call, which is a discovery call to figure out why they're selling, learn a little bit more about the property, the time frame they want to sell, etc. And then I always get on another call to close the deal. Okay, that builds anticipation with the prospect. It gets them involved in the sale, right? It puts me in the driver's seat. And additionally, I like to position myself as like not the decision maker. So I'm like, well, I have to talk to my underwriters, because what that's going to help me do later on the sale is create the frame that it's me and the prospect working together, like arm in arm. So like imagine we're sitting at a table and it's me and the prospect together versus my underwriters. And when I position it like that, I'm going to be able to close more deals because the prospect doesn't feel like it's me versus them. It's me and them together versus my underwriters. Okay, so it's very key that you do that.
No, of the 9 acres, I can't remember where the lines are on, so I'm thinking it's not. There's fish there, yes, but I don't think it was stocked with fish. My grandfather had it, had fish in it, yes, but it's not like been harvested to be a fishing pond, but it does have fish in it.
Okay.
And then, been out there fishing.
I know you said you spoke to husband. How did you feel about land?
He's not on it. It was my land, but
So important, right? If someone is married, or if they have a business partner, which doesn't happen a lot, or if they've mentioned that there's some other family members that have used the property, that's another objection that can come up. Right? It's called partner spouse, right? Basically that someone other than the person you're talking to would have some level of involvement in the property, and they might affect the decision of whether, this gets sold to you or not. So what I asked there, I know she's married, and I say, well, how does your husband feel about it? I want to make sure they're on the same page, because if he's going to be an equal decision maker, right? Or what if he's actually the true decision maker and she's not? I need to know that so I can get on a call with that guy.
he's fine with it. He's good.
Okay, well, yeah, but I don't want to call divorce or anything, so I just,
No, and we have not. I'll be honest with you, I have not been out there in probably 2 years. Yeah, I'm not far from it, but I live in Live Oak, work in Lake City. Me and my husband both work at the Department of Transportation. So I just never go there. I used to live in Hamilton County, and my grandfather had 200 acres right there. And then a long story, but a woman got involved and kind of got some of it. And then my half brother has like 80 that's still there. So he has 80 on it, but he's terrible where he lives. So I don't even want to tell you that's my half brother. But and then the other side that has the house that's McWaters was my full brother, and he sold it to them. And actually moved to Crystal River. So, yeah. So he's not there anymore. So that's another reason I'm kind of like, if I wanted to move there, my brother would have been there, but he's gone. My mom died, and I don't need to move back to Jasper for anything or Hamilton County. So, but the taxes are so good there.
Yeah. Well, I do thank you for sharing all that. So why don't we do this? I want to take it back to my team and then just be able to get a final number for you. Like I said, I think it's doable to be in that range. Let's do this. Let me see what my time's like. So I can call you back tomorrow. I'm pretty late in the morning. Are you working tomorrow?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Another super important thing. Okay. You always want to do this. So when you leave a call, like the discovery call, you always set the next call for a specific time. All right. Like what you don't want to do is be like, I'll call you tomorrow. Like for the next call, if you on a discovery call and you're about to make an offer, schedule it for a certain time. But listen to what I did right there. I actually said something very important. Like, I'm pretty busy, right? I want to create the frame that in the hierarchy, I'm the leader. I'm the one driving the calls. I'm like, I'm kind of busy, right? And I am kind of busy. So, but that puts them in the kind of lower position where I'm the one that's driving everything forward. Okay. Very subtle tweak, but when you're scheduling stuff, that's what you want to do. I'm pretty slammed tomorrow, man. I don't know. I might be able to move some stuff around. Let's see what I can do.
Yeah, I don't know my schedule, but if you could text me, it's probably better.
Yeah, I have to get something on my calendar else. I might be just booked up. Let me see. I could try. I'd call you at 2:30, or if it's easier for you to call you, after working hours, I could probably call you, 5:15 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm looking tomorrow, the 20th? Sure. I'm pretty good tomorrow, so anytime you'd like to call, except about 3. 3 or 4, I have a meeting.
Okay, so why don't we do this? I'll call you at 2:30, and then we'll just take it from there.
Okay, that's fine.
And you always give 2 times. Okay, so when you're offering to give someone a call, I can call you at this time or this time. What's better for you, right? You never give just one because the chances of them saying no are high. You never leave it open-ended because they're probably like, well, I'm busy, you know what I mean? And you also don't give like 5 options or something crazy because it'll overwhelm them. You just give 2 different times.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool. And then before you jump, do you have a question?
No, let's see. I was looking at I get these things in the mail probably 4 a week.
Yep.
And I do. But I have not called anybody. I've not ever picked it up and called. But I guess today I was cleaning out some papers from I'm at work today, so I was cleaning out some files that I had put this stuff in the little file, and I was like, oh, let me call it. But like I said, I don't have to sell it. I've held on to it. I don't think I have to sell it from a truck. So I don't want to be, that's the only thing I don't want to lowball it. And I know they don't make any more land. That's why one reason I'm kind of like leery to sell is just that there's just, you don't get land anymore. They don't make any more of it. And Hamilton County is not the best place to live, but I see it grow at some point, and especially being that close to the interstate. So I probably won't take any less. I will tell you that. So y'all can, it's fine with me if you come back and say, oh, we just can't get there. That's fine. So, no hard feelings.
Yeah, let's take a look. And like I said, the way they operate is I can make it work on both our ends. Then great. If it doesn't work, it's also okay. But it just depends on my writer saying. So let me get with them, and then we can just take it from there.
Okay, I appreciate the call back. Thank you. And your name was Mark?
Again, like I'm just positioning this like, hey, like let me see what I can do. I'm just being a regular person. Like this is the truth. Like if I can make the numbers work, like I'll make them work, Like, and that's important to communicate to them. Okay. But because I said like, hey, I got to runners, etc., the way the prospect feels is that me and them are a team and we're working together. It's so, so important. Okay.
Max, okay. Sorry, I was in the garage and it was kind of cutting out. So, all right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk tomorrow, okay?
All right. I love Carrabba's there in Gainesville. I go there all the time.
It's good.
We have a little RV.
Carrabba's.
When we go to Gainesville, we just usually spend the night. We'll go to the Sporting Goods and spend the night, or the Cracker Barrel. Have a little, it's because we don't get Gainesville's not that far from us, but we just kind of like to, when we do go, we shop all day, wherever we can shop. And we just go to Carrabba's and eat, and then we go. We've got like a tiny little Airstream, and so we love it. And that's why I said the RV park was. That's kind of one of my things that I would really like to do. They just put one on 90. I don't know if you know, between Live Oak and Lake City on US 9.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that thing stays packed. They're making a killing.
Yeah, well, I'll say, dealing with people like that, it can be tough. So I don't know. I don't know if RV park want to do it.
Again, like she brings up the thing about the RV park, where you have to understand about like most people, again, unless they're a business owner, like they have legitimate business experience, they hear all these things like, oh, this would be a great idea. It's like, yeah, it would, but like you don't understand how much it goes into that. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, like very complex processes. It's not simple. So again, like I kind of shit on that idea, just to be frank, because that's not what I want her to do. And like truthfully, like the chance of her doing it is just incredibly low. Like there's almost zero shot, without having any experience, not having the funds, etc.
Blame you for not trying, but I know it's a huge race right now. So
It is. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it. And just call back.
All right, let's go check out the next call. So this is the offer call, okay?
Good. Who's that?
you yesterday about your land?
Huh?
You spoke yesterday about your land out in Hamilton County?
Oh, Matt, I'm so sorry. I was on another call, and I'm like, I don't know this next number. What in the heck? And then you called back again. I was like, who is this? I'm so sorry. I'm at work today. So, yeah, this is what I do to telemarketers. I'm like, Max, who? Whatever, who? I usually hang up on.
I get so many calls. So yeah, I spoke with the team, and so here's what I'm ready to agree to. They're good to do 76,000 for both lots.
Okay. It's amazing that you said I got one yesterday. I checked my mail.
So I did end up closing this deal, and like as you're going to see, it was actually a lot harder. There was a lot more negotiations that went on. In hindsight, what I would have done here is earlier in the call, she basically told me like what she wanted, right? On the last call, what I should have done here is I should have just came in at a bit of a lower number, even at just a few thousand off, just to get her more involved in the sale and negotiate. The problem is, and what I've noticed is like, let's say a seller tells you, okay, I want 80,000. You go back like, okay, I can do 80. It feels too easy for them. And what happens subconsciously, what they're thinking is like, man, like that was like kind of easy. Maybe I can get more from them. Or like, I don't know, I feel kind of weird about this because it was like too easy. And then they get, skeptical, or they might try and negotiate harder. I guarantee that if I had just come in at a little bit of a lower number, I could have locked it up at that price because I would have gotten her involved. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like I said, I did end up closing it, but if I was going to go back and do the call over, that's what I would have done.
Oh, I got another offer. Golden Land Borrowers, Buyers out of Arizona. So, okay. I think I probably want to do it then.
Cool.
The only thing is, am I just giving it to y'all? I mean, that's what my thing. I haven't had it appraised. I know nothing about it.
No, look, here's the thing. I'm in the business of buying something. So, at some point in time, I'll do something to it. I'm not going to build an RV park because she's only pain in the ass. I think it's a fair deal. I mean, I think if we wanted, I'd rather say we do it. So I hope you'd be happy with that, and then, we can sponsor something better rather than just try to land it there.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
So that's super important. All right. And like, to be frank, this was one of the hardest prospects. Like, this is not how most conversations go, but if you have 10 different people, like 1 out of 10 is going to be way more difficult. Another 1 out of 10 is just going to be like, a lay down deal that's just going to close. The other 8 out of 10 depends on how good you are. Okay. This one was one of the more difficult ones. All right. But she's talking about, well, am I just like giving it away? Here's what you have to understand. Like, I'm not going to lie to this person and be like, oh no, I'm giving you top dollar. I'm not giving them the top dollar, right? I'm an investor. Like, I'm going to make money from this. And so I'm like, straight up, I'm like, listen, I'm in the business of buying and selling land. Like, that's what I do, but I'm giving you a fair deal. And it is a fair deal, because what you have to understand here is it's not about them getting the top dollar. It's about me solving their problem and helping them out. If they walk away with $76,000, like, that's going to put her in an amazing position where she can pay off the truck, pay off debts, et cetera. It's like, and I'm going to do that in a few weeks. It's like, why would you not take that deal? You know what I mean? But you don't want to lie and be like, oh no, yeah, this is market value. It's like, it's not market value. And then sellers aren't dumb either, So again, this is just about being a regular person. So if they ask what I do, I'm just straight up. I'm like, listen, I buy and sell land. You know what I mean?
I'm just, like I said, I'm not doing anything with it. My only fear is that, selling it down, y'all gonna get 5,000 an acre, and I'm getting like nothing an acre.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, like, you have to understand, though, like, I'm in the business of buying selling land, and I value property. You know what I mean? Like, that's my business. I might come in, I might build a house. I might come in and, get surveys done and prepare for building. Like, but that's what I do day in and day out, and I have a team to do that, right? So,
listen,
I'm assuming you don't have a team to do that, or else you would have done it.
So like, that's me giving the justification, because basically she's like, upset that we're going to make more money. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. It's not relevant. It's not about how much money my company's going to make. It's about, are you happy with the offer, and is this going to solve your problem? That's what matters. Like, that's all that matters. Okay. And I'm straight up with her. I'm like, listen, like, one, because I'm probably not going to get 5,000 an acre. I know I'm not, right? But I will get more than what I'm getting it for, like, obviously. And so like, what I'm doing here is I'm just being sure. I'm like, listen, I run a business. Like, I add value to things, right? And the way that I add value in this scenario is that I do have a team, right? I put time and effort into doing that. That's expensive. There's risk, et cetera. So I should get compensated, accordingly for that, right? And so essentially, I'm just being straight up with her, letting her know, it's like, listen, like, I have all these things, like, I put time, energy, money into it. So like, that's why I can get more money out of this. And I'm going to do things to the property that are going to increase its value. That costs money. There you go. Right. And she's not going to do those things.
No, I do have a couple of realtor friends that wanted to put it on the, the market, but I just never did. So, but I
look, I'm going to get to the next day. I don't know if you're familiar with Dan Hill, the closing attorney. So, sales are good to close on this. We can get it done. You don't have to go through, the rigmarole of put stuff on the market. I know that because we have to do that sometimes. It sucks. So.
Throwing up another objection, like in this call, you see, like, almost every objection, like, that's possible in the books, like that, comes up. That's why I wanted to show you guys this. Okay. So she brings up the realtor thing. She's bringing that up because she thinks she can get more money. But like, here's the truth. She could get more money, but it's also probably going to take her 6, 12. It could take 18 months to sell. Maybe it'll never sell. You know what I mean? And maybe she'll get less because the market's going to end up deciding. What I say there is, I'm like, listen, like, this is something I'm going to be able to close on in 30 days. Okay. And I'm pushing it forward. I'm like, hey, like, this is the closing attorney we use, et cetera. Like, this is going to be easier for you. We don't have to deal with all the rigmarole. Because, like, compare the two options. Let's say she puts it on the market and ends up waiting 12 or 18 months to maybe get a bit more. And I say maybe because nothing's guaranteed, versus my cash offer that she gets in 30 days. It's like, what's going to have a bigger impact in your life? Like, getting $76,000 in 30 days, or in 18 months, maybe getting more. It's like, I kind of take the thing, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush, as the old saying goes.
Yeah. So that means y'all pay off flood costs and that kind of thing, and that puts it at what, $3,800 an acre is what you're doing?
Yeah, basically. So it'll be $76,000. That's net years for closing costs. If everything back taxes, there is, and then you get stuff like that. So.
Yeah. No, I just paid them because it's still under exempt, and I was like, let me pay them before it goes out of exemption. So let's see, what 20 acres? What did you say? 76.
Correct.
I think I want to do it. Let me talk it over with my husband for sure. He's not on the land; it's just me. But that's probably. I don't see you doing anything with it. It's costing me money to sit there. Mm-hmm. I think I'm ready.
Okay.
I probably should have told you 80 though, shouldn't I?
We had a different conversation. No, it's in line with the other operation. That's why they did it. So, let's do this. I want to just put something for y'all. I got your email. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. That first screen that you got, I'm gonna send that one through DocuSign.
So if they need to talk to someone else, right? I'm not surprised. Like, this is a general dynamic. Even though that she's the sole owner, generally most wives will end up talking to their spouse, right? And it also happens on the other side that, like, husbands will talk to the wife. It depends. It's usually not as often, but most of the time, if there's a wife, like they're going to go talk to the husband. Okay. And like, that's fine. Right. And you'll see how I handle that a little bit later. But what I'm doing right here is I'm moving the sale forward. So what you don't want to do is be like, oh yeah, just go talk to him. We'll talk later. Like, you need to move the sale forward. The way that we do that is by sending them the purchase agreement. And so what I say is like, hey, listen, I want to get something in front of you guys, right? So you can have something to look over. What's your email? And I send them the purchase agreement. Every step you take that's closer and closer to the deal getting signed, the more they're getting bought in, the more committed they are, the more likely they are close. Okay, that's why I do that.
They'll just have both commercial numbers on there, and they'll have the price updated to 76,000. And then I know you've already briefly mentioned this to your husband, but now going back to him, letting him know, hey, we got an offer for 76. I mean, how do you think you feel?
This is how I handle that objection. Because sometimes what can happen is them talking to a partner is a smokescreen, meaning it's a fake objection, and under it's a real objection. Oftentimes what people will do, they'll be like, oh, I got to go talk to my husband, my wife, etc., because they have some objection, but it's actually the person you're talking to that has the objection, not the spouse. And so what I do here is I'm like, hey, listen, like, you know your husband better than I do. Like, what do you think he's going to say? Because if there is going to be a concern there, I can bring it out and handle it.
How do I think he's going to feel?
Yeah.
He'll be fine, I think, because he's with me. He's not planning to do anything. I mean, if he planted a garden or something, he would probably want to do it. I got some people that want to hunt it, but I don't do that kind of stuff. So, but there's deer galore. But I think he'll be fine. I don't think he's having a problem with it. I mean, it's not his land, it was mine, so
Yeah, fair enough.
it's good.
Like I said, I don't want to cause any marriage
Divorce or
issues.
anything?
Yeah. So, in other words, if he's like, hey, yeah, I'm good to go, then you're ready to roll this thing?
Probably so, yeah. I just
That's called a tie down. It's so important. Okay, so when you're handling an objection, you need to tie them down. So I say, okay, in other words, if he says, yeah, you're good to go, or you can say, hey, in other words, if he says, yeah, 100%, you're good, go ahead and sell it, like you're 100% in, I want to tie them down, and here I use certain language, like you're 100%, ready to roll. There's nothing else that's holding you back, right? You're all in. Because if they're not, I want them to say that so that I can handle the objection, okay? This is also important because later on, if they tell me like, yeah, no, I'm 100% in, and then something happens where they're like, I don't know. I can be like, well, earlier in the conversation, you told me you're 100% in. So I can hold them accountable to that and say like, well, what's going on here? Talk to me.
my only fear is that I'm selling too cheap. That's my only thing, because I don't make no more of this stuff. And that's why I tell them to it as long as I have. It's just, they don't make any more of it. So,
Look, I agree on that. God does not make any more land, but I mean, I guess the question I ask you is, if in 30 days you have an extra $76,000, could that be?
See, she brought up another objection. Let's go back and listen to this one more time.
So,
Look, I agree on that. God does not. Yeah. So, in other words, if he's like, hey, yeah, I'm good to go, then you're ready to roll this thing?
probably so, yeah. I just,
Probably so. Okay, that's not the type of answer you want to hear. Okay, when they say that, that means that there's another objection. You know that they're good to move forward if they say, it's not about the words they say, it's about how they say it. So you want to say it in a confident way. So instead of saying, yeah, probably so, like you can hear the hesitation in her voice. You want to hear something like, yeah, no, we'd be good to go. But because she said that, and then listen to what she says next, she brings up an objection, I then go on to handle it.
my only fear is that I'm selling too cheap. That's my only thing. Because I don't
That's the objection.
And that's why I tell them to it as long as I have. It's just, they don't make any more of it. So,
Look, I agree on that. God does not make any more land, but I mean, I guess the question I ask you is, if in 30 days you have an extra $76,000, could that be more valuable to you than not having it?
I would say yes, probably so. Because, like I said, I don't like to be in debt, and I've got a couple of little, like his truck, his mom's truck. Why do you need a truck? You need a truck. But, I mean, here's the thing. It was about $20,000, so it's not a big deal. It's not any big debt. Nothing. I mean, I paid most of it out of savings, so it's not bad. It's just, I'm kind of like, I can pay off everything but my house. So.
Yeah, well, look, pay it off, put money back to your savings, go take a vacation, do something with money, go invest in the stock market, something, like,
My frame on this and like how I'm able to communicate this, it's kind of like, duh, like, okay, would you rather have $0 or $76,000 the next 30 days? It's like, what sounds better to you? It's like, obviously. And the cool thing is when I asked her that, right, she kind of starts to sell herself. Well, I could pay this off. I could do X, Y, and Z, right?
have a land to consider with,
Yeah, that's true. It would put me back in a better, which like I said, I'm not, and just, it's just sat there, and I've been saying, well, I'm going to do something, but I never do, and the taxes come around again, and I never do.
Yeah, well, here you are.
Yeah, well, and like I said, you're the first person that I called back, I'll be honest with you. I was like, but, okay, well, I think I would be ready. I'll talk to him about it tonight when we get off, and see if he has any objections, and I'm sure he won't, but if he does, I'll let you know. Is this your number?
Yeah, just give me a call, texting, whatever you need.
Okay, all right. I'll do that, and I appreciate you calling me back, and I'm sorry, I was totally on the phone,
No,
I was like,
you're good.
keep calling me at this number, St. Petersburg, who is that?
You're good. Don't worry about it. I will. I'll get this sent through your email, so just gonna look out for that. And then once I get that back, I'll send off the closing attorneys. They'll reach out to you for the closing. They're running about 30 days out right now, so if we can get them on top a little bit, absolutely will. Just depends on the show.
Okay, so that would be closing here in Lake City.
Okay, and so what happens next, we're going to go into the next call. So she ends up texting me basically saying that she wants more. Okay, so let's dive into that.
Hey, Max, I'm good.
Awesome.
Coming back from lunch. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I want to talk to you. There's a few things that we can do here just to kind of understand where you're at. So I guess first, let me ask you this. With the taxes, why is that the biggest problem?
Yeah, so like I said, this lady gave me every objection in the book. So she texted me saying she wants more, and like she's worried about paying capital gains tax. If you don't know what that is, basically she had the land at one point in time, it's increased in value. She needs to pay a difference on that increase in value. Let's just pay the tax on that. Okay, when she sells, like That's how it goes. So she brings it up as a concern. I'm like, okay, now I need to handle this.
Because I just, well, because it takes into my profit. That's the biggest thing.
Sure. So here's the thing about the capital gains tax. There's no way to avoid it unless you do some complex thing, like let's say you do like a 1031 exchange. But if you do something like that, you're not going to get profit because you would just push it into another property. So the gist is, the more you sell for, the worse capital gains tax is going to be. It's not avoided. And so when I've had this conversation with other people, I'll show you an idea in a second. But it's kind of like, well, okay, maybe I have to pay a certain amount of tax, but I'm still walking away.
This is what you do with like someone who's having an objection about capital gains tax, because it's kind of dumb. Think about it like this. Let's say they're making $100,000 in profit from, when they bought the property to when they sell it to you. Okay, and let's say they're going to pay hypothetically, 20% taxes on that gain. So they're going to pay $20,000. Well, that means they're going to net $80,000. And so her thinking, again, not everyone's like this. Like this lady, like, give me everything in the book. Her thinking is like, man, like maybe I don't even want to sell because I don't want to pay the taxes. It's like, it's not a logical thought, because let's use that same math example. If you sell the property and you make $100,000 and you pay $20,000 of taxes, you still net $80,000. So would you rather not sell the property and avoid taxes and make $0? Or would you rather sell the property, pay $20,000 in taxes, and then take home $80,000? It's like, yeah, I think I'd rather take home the $80,000. You know what I mean? So that's the thought process that I use when I go into these types of objection handling, because it's like, you're going to be in a much better spot selling it, even if you have to pay taxes. And like, there's no way to avoid taxes unless, like I say, you do some weird, complicated strategy.
More money than I had before. So it's like, is that worth it? That's the only way to truly lower capital gains tax is to load it still first. Now, the way we can do that, we can structure it. If we just seller finance deal, I can give you a portion down, finance the rest, and then you can get paid out, and that would lower capital gains tax.
How would that, over years of time?
Correct. Yeah. So, okay, I think on my saw basically you got this like a nominal fee of like $110 or something. So let's
because it was my grandfather's land. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happened. Let's say what we did is you get 10% down, and then we work out an arrangement over 3-5 years, whatever you like. You just get paid out every single month. That would lower, because you're not going to have such a large influx of cash. Does that make sense? At one time.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I could sell it to the guy that wanted it and me finance it for him. That would be, and he would pay me 10% interest.
Sure, but I mean, ultimately, he was offering you less. So let's do what it comes down to is like, these are the options. We could talk about financing, work out an agreement that makes sense. Okay, you're going to get less money up front. You're going to get paid out, over multiple years. So that could be a nice little method for you guys to use for whatever you want. This is half the cash flow. The alternative is you say, you know what? I'm just going to sell this thing because I'm not going to do anything with it. I understand that there's capital gains tax I'm going to have to pay, but I'm going to have an extra $64,000 in my bank account that I never had that I'm going to use for whatever I want.
Yeah, and I guess I'm not there yet. I'm not there to just let it go for $64,000. That's where I'm at, and that's why I would be getting off of it. And I'm not there to go to let it go for that. So. And that's what I'm going to be letting it go for, because I'm paying $12,000 to $15,000 taxes. Yeah.
Well, okay, then you also remember you start financing. Right? I mean, if we start financing, I can get you to total sales price of $8,000. That makes it work. That's what you do.
But seller financing, what does so I'd have to pay. You'd pay me say $20,000 down, and then I pay the capital gains on the $20,000, and then every pay time after that, I have to pay that. I just pay really essentially what I do. If I'm paying the capital gains instead of all at once, I'm paying them still monthly, then, or whatever your thing is.
Yeah, but that's a small way. I mean, like, again, here's the thing. Everyone that I spoke to that's in your situation, it's like, you want extra money or not? You know what I mean? It's like you can't avoid it. You can defer it.
So this is me just being straight up, because again, it's kind of a silly objection. It's like, would you be in a better position to have the extra money or not? Because like ultimately, it's not like she's losing money. She's making a ton of money, right? She just has to pay taxes.
And lower the amount by doing seller financing thing. But we can't totally run away from it and be legal law buying it. So.
You don't really lower by doing seller finance. You just prolong it. Right?
I mean, yeah, you prolong it over a short duration, so it's not a big hit. But look, I guess it comes down to you. It's like, do you want to make money from this or not? You know what I mean? It's like, you don't sell it, sure, you don't pay tax, but you're also not going to make money,
Yeah, I gotcha, I know, but I guess my thing is
so like, this is where you need to be direct. Like, certain prospects are like this, where they're like, oh, kind of wishy-washy, like, you need to be the leader in the conversation. I'm like, listen, and I'm not saying this in a rude way, I'm just being direct. I'm like, hey, listen, like, it comes down to like, do you want to make money or not? It's that simple. Now what you're going to see is like, there's actually more objections and other things to handle. She's going to want more money, right? We'll talk about that.
It's not worth the squeeze to me. I mean, I don't have to have money right now. I don't have to pay the taxes right now. I guess I was just thinking, I don't know, I don't mean if it's like 7% or 10%, but this is looking 15 to 21.
Well, it's based off your income. I'm assuming you guys have it, right?
Yes, we do. And I can't remember, but I think it's like 150, 155 this year or something like that.
Yeah, so that's just personal fault. Like, look, I don't like either, but it's like, that's the government. You know what I mean? Like, we can avoid tax. So I guess, let's discuss the options. So you don't do this, what's your option here? Selling realtor or more?
No, just keep it like I've been doing for the last 7 years and not do anything with it, or do something with it. I mean, I don't know, lease it to somebody, something like that. I mean, I could do those things, but I just hadn't done it. So when I got your letter, I'm like, oh, that's an option. But I wasn't thinking about all the taxes on it. So.
Well, okay, so let's say you lose that. So maybe, I don't know. All right, what do you think you could get on?
I'm looking for what they wanted to lease it for. If they wanted to lease it for a hunting lease, or if they wanted to do it for I don't know what they even would want to do for it. Or I could plan it in times, I guess. Just read from it later. I mean, there's the options, the other options that I have. Because I was approached about planning it in times, but I haven't done it.
Here's what it comes down to. It's like, yes, those are all available options, but you have to decide, okay, like, what do I care more about here? Let's say you lease that to 100, you can't find, I don't know, I'm just going to use a nominal number. Let's say you're making, I don't know, $2,000. So, okay, I make $2,000. Eventually the lease is going to end. Would you rather have that, extra monthly income, or would you rather just have a lot of cash given to you? Like, what would you want to help?
Yeah, I guess if it was a lot of cash, it would tempt me, but it's not a lot of cash. $64,000 is not a lot of cash. So.
Okay, boom. Hear that. So what I did there is I basically asked her, okay, what are the options here? Like, what are you thinking about? And she basically says, well, the other thing is I could lease it out to someone, right? And then my thing is like, what's going to help this person out the most? Or like for the end goal that they want, right? And for this person, even though she hasn't stated it, what it is like she wants to have more money to pay off debts, etc., pay off the truck, whatever. And so I'm like, what's going to help you more? Making a few $1,000s a month in cash flow, or just having a lump sum of money? And then right there, what she says is like, hey, that's actually not a big amount, because she wants more money. See, this is the objection that's coming up. Now she wants a higher offer price. We'll dive into that.
To me, I mean, it's almost worth just letting it sit there because it's not really a lot to me. I mean, yeah, it's great. It helped me, but it's not one of those things that I don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze here, because I give up 20 acres of land that's not really costing me $1, $400 in taxes for something that's going to be peed away in 2 weeks. I mean, I could consider $64,000 and still, I guess, it's great, but it's not a substantial enough amount to make me say, I think this is what I need to do at this moment. I guess.
Well, it really sounds like you feel like you're not getting enough.
True, because I was thinking, well, if I had a profit of 70.
See, I just call out the objection. Hey, it really sounds like, you feel like you're not getting enough. Because like that's what it is. So like now we need to tackle that objection.
Something $1,000, yes, I could see me selling it, paying off everything that I owe for my house, and I could see, do it at 64, I'm getting anything. I still don't have payments, so it's like
So then, let's work out the different options. We're talking about the difference of $6,000. So you're saying if you walked away after taxes, $70,000, you want to sell it?
Well, yes, I guess so.
Like, you sound really uncertain. Like,
Yeah, well, I guess I was thinking 70 because it's going to take. I owe $76,000, so I was thinking if it's $76,000, yes, that would make me walk away with it. But taxes is going to eat into that until I'm not going to have like 64. So that's where I'm at. I mean, 64 I know is better than nothing, but at the same time, 64 is not going to even.
So now I'm in the negotiations, right? And you could hear I'm tying her down. I'm like, hey, listen, if I give you this, like, you move forward on it, right? Like I want to cause a certain statements to know what she's uncomfortable about, and then I can tell she's uncertain, and I call that out. When someone sounds super uncertain when you're in objection handling, just call it out. Like again, I can do this because I created a good relationship with her in the beginning, because the way that I frame the entire call is that it's me and her working together. Like I am generally trying to help this person out, right? Because of that, I'd be like, listen, like talk to me. Like you seem uncertain. Like what's going on here, right? That way I can get to the root of the objection and just handle it.
Not going to pay off everything, and I still got to make payments. So I'm like, well, I got interest rates lower, so I can just do like I've been doing and still hang on to the land. But that's my only thing. If I'm not going to really steal the debt, I'm still going to be making payments. Would be making them for as long, but it's just kind of.
So you have a good mortgage on land currently?
I'm sorry, what do you say?
You have a mortgage on land? You said you have payments.
Oh, no, I got other payments. Like I have my little Airstream, I have my car, I have my truck, and $76,000 would almost never pay everything of those off. And so that I would be debt free other than my house. And so that's what that made it look favorable to me. If I can't pay all that off, I'm still going to owe $14,000-$15,000 on something. I just might as well not do it, and it's going to put me in a different tax bracket as well.
Can I be really honest with you?
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying. But at the end of the day, you're going to walk away with more money and put yourself in a better position if you sell this. If you have $76,000 of debt, across the things you're trying to pay down, and you net support from this, you're in a better position than you are today. So it's like, why would you not want to put yourself in that position? Because the alternative is that you just do nothing, and then you have $76,000 of debt that you have to pay down.
True. But I have 20 acres of land in case I wanted to sell it later. And times get hard.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The longer you wait, let's say, you sell for more down the line, 30 years from now, it's a bustling place. I don't know if maybe you're paying way more capital gains tax. So it just comes down to, do you want to have more money than you currently do? Like, would it be more beneficial to you to have $64,000 of your debt paid down versus not?
I don't think so. I mean, not 64,000. No. Like I said, if I was higher than that, I would say yes, it would benefit me. I mean, it benefited me, of course, to come down from 74,000, 75,000 that I owe to only still owing $10,000 at the time. But I don't know. I guess it's a lot to think about at the moment. But I mean, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying let me think about it, because I thought maybe there was an option of getting out of this, out of paying all this tithes, because if it could be 20%, it might not be 15%, it could be 20%, and that's going to raise it even more and take it out of the profit. And if I'm not going to get a substantial amount of money out of it, I just feel like it's just better to sit and wait.
I hear what you're saying. So here's the two options I have for you that I can do at this point that can help you out. Okay, so it sounds like, and let's just make sure I'm understanding correctly. The goal here is to get the debt paid off in full and nothing else, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so when you're handling objections, you need to get the root and you need to make sure you're all on the same page. So I'm like, hey, like, let's get down. Like, let's talk about exactly what this is. That's what I'm doing here.
Cool, so we're working from that frame. If that's the goal, there's two things I can do. Number one, I can do what we were just talking about with your original sales price, and you can take a huge chunk out of it. If you don't want to do that, here's another option. My job is buying and selling land. I have an amazing network of people. I have investors I work with, on my side. That's a private network. What I can try and do is basically shop this around to them. I could probably end up giving you a higher price, and then I can make a difference. That way I'm doing the work on your behalf. You're not paying me. I sell this. You get to walk away at 76. You don't have to do anything. I do the work.
If that was base, I would be fine, because
That was me pitching a double close. That's how I closed this deal, sold it, got her paid. She was actually very happy with everything. That's what I did here, right? So like that's another extra strategy that you can use when you can't meet on price. You can say, well, listen, here's my other thing. I literally just told her I have a group of people I'm going to shop this around to. If, at a higher price, if I can make it work, I will.
that's what I'm just really wanting to get it completely out of every other thing of debt and not have to give it all of my profit, or what I feel most of the profit, give $12,000-$15,000
Okay. So
to them.
let me do this. Let me take it back to my underwriters and see, and let me come up to, let me see exactly what the sales price would end up being, where, after the capital gains tax, you could walk away with 76. And then we'll do a time frame that my team needs to work with, and we might be able to do that. So.
Okay, Michael, I'm sorry to be such a butt, but that's what.
And again, I always go back to the underwriters, right? Like that's the most important thing here. I'm like, hey, let me go back, let me seal and confirm, okay? Because I'm getting them involved. Again, I want to repeat this, it's so important. Earlier, if you scroll back in this video, if on my initial offer, I had not said, yeah, we can just do, 76. And I came in a bit lower and caused more of a negotiation, I probably could have avoided this, right? But this is what happens sometimes. And anyways, I still haven't closed the deal, it works, but just a note, keep that in mind, right? Like you want to make it a little more difficult for these people. You don't want it to be so easy, okay? Because then they come back and do stuff like this, where, oh, I can get more money,
And I heard that. Me and my husband last night was like, just keep it. I mean, you've been keeping it all the time. Why go sell it? It's not going to be to get us completely done. Then.
All right, let's go to the next call.
Okay, perfect. Hey, I saw your text. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be kind of tough. I mean, they're probably going to say no because, we just raised it 13,000, so to arbitrarily just continue raising it, it doesn't make sense.
She texts me and she's like, that she wants even more now.
So I'll ask you that. I mean, the only time I can get them to raise stuff, above and beyond is we either, need more time on the deal. Or if you know people and you can send us like 3 referrals of other people that might want to sell the land, that makes it worthwhile. So, I mean, do you have either of those options to do that?
I'm thinking of some other people that might be in my.
Now, to be frank, because I'm double closing it, I can do it at a more compressed margin, right? Like on a double close, it doesn't need to be me buying 50%. I can buy it at 70, 80% of market value. And depending on, the sales price, this was a 6-figure property. Like I have enough room to still make money. If I can make $10,000 on a deal, I'll do it, right? I don't care if it's, buying it at 85% of market value. If I'm going to make that much money, I'll do it. Like, why would you not do the deal, right? We make money on the amount of money we make, not on percentages. That's what's important here, okay? Now, what's really key here, she's asking me for more money. Now, I do have more room to go, okay? So I'm gonna negotiate. However, what's super important is that if you're gonna give the prospect more money, you can't just arbitrarily do that. Yeah, I can give you more money. Anytime you do that, they'll just keep juicing you as much as they can go. So what I do here is I do a trade, okay? I'll say, well, listen, I can't just arbitrarily do this. So, you kind of have to throw something in for me to be able to do that. Like, do you have referrals? Or I might need more time in the market. We're like, I'm going to get something out of this that's going to benefit the business so that it feels like a fair trade. Okay? Because again, if it feels too easy for the prospect, they just keep juicing you.
Situated. Vacant land only, or you want? Are you talking houses and? Vacant land.
I buy a little bit. I mean, if you know people in other states.
Okay. Yep, I do have people that have land, but now others that I can refer them. I can't tell you they would do it. But yes, I got at least 3 people that I can refer.
Okay. So let me do this. Let me talk to them and see if they'll raise it for referrals, and then I'll get back to it and then I'll see.
Okay, and at the end of the day, I hate to keep haggling. I don't like that, so I haven't went to a realtor because I just really don't want to do it. So, like I said, I was kind of in one of those moods where buyer's remorse with a truck. The only reason I reached back out to y'all.
Yeah, I've been there. I get it. I bought many cars and felt that, so you're good.
Yeah, he loves the truck, but I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, he sent this to me like March the 1st, so it had been sitting in there 20 days and I hadn't even done anything with it, so I called you on the 20th. So, yeah, I don't want to keep haggling. I'm sorry that when I talked to my husband about it on my home yesterday, he was like, Katrina, you're giving up 20 acres of land that you could use in the future, and I said, yeah, but we could be out of debt. He told us that's not going to get us out of debt, and I see what he's saying. We do have. I didn't realize it's interest free, but I did just buy a hot tub. So he's like, we got a hot tub. Yeah. So I'm like, well, dang, you're right. He said, well, just make it make sense, and that's where I'm saying. But at the end of the day, I'll make a decision. If they do, they do. If they don't, I'll make a decision. And I do appreciate you working with me though. And I know y'all are a big company, but you don't have endless pockets, so I do realize that as well.
I appreciate that. Let me talk to them, and then I'll get back to the end of the day and I'll let you know. Okay.
All right. So again, I pushed off the underwriters. Then I call her back. All right. Let's go to that last call.
Good.
I'm doing good. I am about to wrap up here and go home for the weekend, I hope.
I feel that. Hey, yeah, so I talked to them, and here's what they said their final offer was going to be. They agreed that they would do $94,100, and so after the capital gains tax comes out to $80, net to you. As long as after we close and everything's wrapped up, you're happy, you've got paid all that jazz, you send us 3 referrals.
I will definitely do that. I've been thinking today of some people that I know that have quite a bit of land that would possibly use you all if that will make my husband happy as well. He just walked out of here, but that will make him happy as well.
Okay, cool. Well,
Definitely do that.
All right, let me go ahead and I'll resend that agreement updated with that new price, and then once I get that back, with everything going, okay?
Okay, what is the glitch? Is there any glitches that I need to think about, or any things that can go wrong before I get all excited and think that I'm going to pay all my bills off?
No, I would say that as long as you get upfront with everything on the property, there's not some outrageous
All right, cool. So we'll list the rest of the call, but this is important here, right? Like, again, I'm going to pin this back on them. Because some prospects, if they don't tell you everything, it's like something could come up, right? Like if she wasn't honest with me, and let's say there's, a bunch of tons of scrap metal or like structures in the property that are in terrible condition that need to get torn down that are going to cost me thousands of dollars. Well, then I'm going to go back to her and be like, listen, like we got to renegotiate the price. And so she's trying to make sure that like she's covering her behind, you know, that nothing is going to happen to her, et cetera, which I understand and I respect, but I'm going to put that back on her. I'm like, hey, like, as long as you were honest with me and upfront, which she was, right? And everything worked out.
Issue that hasn't been discussed with it. Issue.
No, the only thing is, like I said, the other 9 acres that we're talking about, it's a little wet. It's not like considered floodplain or anything like that. But it's, you know, it's kind of wet. But other than that, that's the only thing I know of. Like I said, I haven't been out there in a couple of years, so it's grown up. You know, it's just some rural country land.
Yeah.
That's it. Now there is, I think there's like 100-foot. I don't know if you pulled it up on the website or anything, but there's like 100-foot easement that goes all the way to the paved road. So I don't know if that matters to y'all. It's where you can access to the paved road, where you have access to the paved road, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But then it also means that I think the other 2 owners have that same access as well. So I guess it's just to keep from landlocking.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a camera who's going to go walk it. When you say a little wet, I know it's been years, so I'm not going to do it. Obviously, we'll walk it. Is it like you're sinking up to your knees? Like, do you remember what it's like?
No, it's not like that. So, it is. It's kind of like over where the pond area is. It just is a lower level land. It's not swampy or anything like that. It's just you know, it's not. You know, it's just low. There's a creek a little forward, and you know, if that was dredged out, it would be sufficient. You know, it's not a creek, I don't guess. It's just like something that goes up under the road, so it's on my property. If that was kind of dredged out a little bit, it would probably make it. It was not even wet, but it's not wet. I mean, it's not like I've looked at the floodplain. It's not in the floodplain or anything like that. I just say that it's a little wetter on that end than it is the 10 acres to the I don't even know what it is to the west to the north. I think so. It's not anything that I think it's to worry about. I mean, I think we could build a house there, and it's not going to flood.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to walk it and you know, see what the actual condition like is on ground because you can look stuff all day on aerials, but that's such a different story. So, like I said, as long as there's no huge outrageous problems with it, it's fine. So,
yeah, well, and I will tell you, my half brother that lives on the other side, he jumps up things, so don't hold me responsible for him.
yeah, again, like it's why we go out walking. You know what I mean? That's not the end of the world. Like there's some stuff nearby, but I'll give you an example. I think in North Carolina, where like we were having to look at it, and the neighbor was coming out with a gun, he like tried to shoot down the drone. Like, oh my god! So, you know, barring someone who's crazy like that outside the property, again, it's your
yeah. Okay. Yeah, and my brother, I will tell you, my half brother, he would not be happy with me selling. So I haven't said anything to him, but I will let him know that that I'm thinking about it because it must be his land. But
well, yeah, look, I can respect that and kind of dynamics. At the end of the day, it's your decision, and it's your land, so you're going to do what you want with it, and kind of nice, you know.
Yeah, and then on the other side, the people that live there had trouble at one point with somebody coming into their property. They have a gate there, but it's really on that limited access thing, and I didn't have a problem with it just because I don't go out there often. So you may encounter that a gate where going up to their driveway, kind of. But so just when you get ready to walk it, let me know. I'll make sure that they know.
Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate it, and I'll give you a heads up, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you.
Cool. So that was it. Ended up closing the deal. She gets paid out, right? We sold on double close. Everybody wins. So that was a call. I hope that was helpful. Make sure that you check out future videos. See you in the next one.